What happens to our society if we ignore consequences? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and good communication all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about ignoring consequences. In this video, we're going to be talking about consequences and what happens if we choose to ignore consequences. Are there any consequences from ignoring consequences? The answer is yes. So what is a consequence? A consequence is the effect of a cause. So if you know ahead of time, let's say there's a law that is in place where you know that if I go over a certain speed limit in my car, then I am breaking the law and can potentially get a fine or a ticket that I have to pay. Well, that's the consequence. I knew that that could be a potential consequence if I got caught going into the circumstance of driving fast in my car. So if I suddenly get the consequence, if someone pulls me over and gives me a ticket and I have to pay a fine for that, then I shouldn't be surprised. In fact, I should just feel a little bit chastened. I feel a little bit dumb that I chose to do something and actually got caught. But if I start saying the rule is dumb, the law is dumb just because I got caught, then what I'm trying to do is say there shouldn't be a consequence, there shouldn't be a consequence. But in the next moment, I might say, road rage, don't people know that with road rage that they are driving a weapon that can kill other people? We need to have higher consequences for road rage that kills other people. So on one hand, if I feel like I did something that I wanted to do and don't want to get caught for it, I may be skeptical of consequences. But on the other hand, if someone I know was killed by a person who was a drunk driver or who was participating in road rage, I might feel like the law is not strict enough. Laws are there for a reason. Sometimes we don't like them, but nonetheless, we all gain security and a sense of stability as a society by having some minimal laws that everybody acknowledges and governs themselves by. Now, this channel is called the Teaching Self-Government channel. So if you've subscribed to this channel already, then you probably know that I'm always looking through that lens of the principle self-government. So let's talk a little bit about what self-government is. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what that means is that you plan ahead for what direction you want to go. So you say, what is the law for myself? Or you might acknowledge the law that exists around you. And then you might say, okay, and who am I? How do I align with this law or this principle to achieve the best version of myself? And I consistently try to align myself with those principles so that I get the best outcomes. That's essentially what self-government means, but I have to not be afraid of course correcting, which means that sometimes I have to acknowledge that there are effects to my decisions or to my actions. And sometimes those effects come in the form of negative consequences. Consequences are an important part of a healthy governing society, whether it's the law of the land or the law in the home. If a home does not have any laws to live by, then there can be some detrimental effects. So in the teaching self-government system of parenting, there are 4 basic skills that we teach children. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And these 4 children's books each teach one of those 4 basic skills. skills. You can find these at teachingselfgovernment.com. This book here, Big Win for Quinn, teaches the skill accepting consequences. In this story, you see that he ends up striking out, but he's mad about that. He ends up having all kinds of situations that occur that get him very emotional when he earns consequences from life. Some of them are natural consequences, some of them are artificial consequences, and he does not want to accept any of them. He just wants to have things go his way. When people don't want to accept negative consequences, it's usually because they don't want to take ownership or responsibility for their own thoughts and actions. They want to blame their circumstances on something else or somebody else. And this is actually not healthy and leads a person away from self-government. So what happens to our society if we ignore consequences? First off, we have to say, what does it look like to ignore consequences? So let's say that a person makes a decision, a bad decision, such as maybe they start taking drugs, okay? And that person ends up having bad relationships because they are taking drugs. They end up ruining relationships because they're not behaving properly. That's a very common thing that could happen from substance abuse. Well, if we ignore the fact that they're taking drugs and we say, oh, that's too bad that you're having a hard time in that relationship. Oh, that's too bad that your girlfriend left you, or something like that. Well, you know, there's other fish in the sea. What is going to happen to that person as they pursue now another relationship and another relationship? If we ignore the fact that it is the drug behavior that is leading to the mistreatment of people in their relationships, they're just going to have more broken relationships and more people are going to end up hurt. Society ends up becoming less united, more selfish. In fact, lots of times people end up feeling like, especially in those circumstances, like, I don't know if I can trust a person to have a relationship with them because I've been mistreated before. So if we don't take on some of our problems as a society and say, listen, there is a consequence for this problem. When you do drugs, you are a danger to other people in the workplace. Let's say we don't address that and people keep getting hurt in the workplace. That would be ignorant of any type of employer or society to do that. That's why we have laws about drunk driving or driving under the influence of drugs, because a person is a danger to other people when they do that. So how do we help prepare our society to see cause and effect in adult life? Well, by having good parenting. Parenting that also teaches children to see cause and effect and gives children the opportunity to accept consequences early on so that they make wiser decisions later and don't have to accept as many negative consequences later. This doesn't mean that the person will never accept a negative consequence in adulthood. We're constantly learning and growing throughout all the phases of life. When a parent teaches their child that if they didn't follow an instruction or didn't accept a no answer calmly, that they will correct them and that that child will get the opportunity to accept a consequence for that behavior, that isn't just punitive action by the parent. It's teaching and preparing the child that later in life, things could happen. Maybe you don't get your project completed on time for work and you lose the account. Or maybe you get fired because you don't come in on time. The child is preparing right now by accepting a consequence from you in this safe and protected environment where everyone is always calm and understanding, that later in life, when consequences come, that the child can accept those too. Now, there are natural consequences and synthetic consequences. Many people are really gung-ho on natural consequences, but really hate synthetic consequences. The thing is that synthetic consequences are actually the most merciful. A natural consequence of lying to friends is that you have no friends. They don't want to be with you. Is that really how you want to teach your child? Is let all of their friends hate them so that they're a social outcast? That's not very merciful. Instead, wouldn't it be better to see that your child is lying to friends, pull them aside, have a conversation with them about it, and say, hey, now in the future, if you choose to lie to friends, then I will correct you in front of your friends so that you get the opportunity to tell the truth. Or I will correct you afterward and you will get the opportunity to accept an extra chore so that you remember that there are negative consequences for choosing to lie to other people, so that in the future you hopefully won't have to accept the natural consequences. The natural consequences are that people don't trust you and they stop wanting to have relationships with you. So you can bring up what the natural consequence would be, but give them an opportunity to accept a quick artificial consequence, to put in a little work at doing something that benefits themselves and others, and then learn the lesson for the future that I can put work into this so that I don't have this problem for the rest of my life. It's merciful. Our society right now has a coddling problem. Parents and teachers, even government officials have trended toward coddling people in their behaviors, toward enabling people in their anger and their manipulation and their excuse making. This isn't good. Our society is currently suffering. Western culture is struggling right now with a myriad of excuses and not enough people taking responsibility for themselves. So everyone's trying to find out who to blame. Everyone is taking what they call the intersectional lens of life, which means finding the person that you can blame for your problem, instead of looking at yourself and saying, what can I do to make things better? When a person learns to accept consequences, they start taking a cold, hard look at themselves and deciding if what they see is okay, or if they need to make a change in themselves. That type of analysis is healthy. It will improve our societies and our cultures. So if we ignore consequences, we're just going to keep getting more of the same. Now, when it comes to weight loss or it comes to college and academic work, people might say, choose your heart. Do you want to eat that thing now and be overweight? Or do you want to tell yourself no, get thinner? So there's the hard of the no, but then there's the reward later. But then there's the yes and then the hard afterward. When it comes to academics, same thing. Are you going to not do any schoolwork now and then ultimately suffer because you don't have that degree that you really wanted to pursue the career that you were hoping for with your life? Or do you put in the hard work now and get the reward later? Choose your hard. Well, did you know as parents, you get the opportunity to choose your child's hard for their future? If they don't learn when they're young that accepting consequences is a natural, normal, healthy part of life, then they're going to struggle accepting consequences in adulthood. And they might have to learn a lot of things the hard way before they finally maybe teach themselves that they should take responsibility for their own actions and accept consequences in life. So just start them young. Give them an edge up. This will change their lives and it will improve your home life overall, but it also will absolutely transform the future landscape of our societies and cultures. If the people can accept consequences and take responsibility for themselves, that has a ripple out effect on all of our families, communities, church groups, and nations. That is what it means to be self-governing. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure that you will love a free gift that I have prepared for you. The free gift is my Calm Parenting Toolkit. It is a toolkit that has 10 tools for calmness. Often people struggle with self-government because of calmness or lack of calmness. So that's a good starting place. This Calm Parenting Toolkit is not a full teaching self-government training. I will give you that as a disclaimer, but it is a great beginning. So click on the link in the description below this video to the Calm Parenting Toolkit. There's a link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. If you click on that link now, then you can have that Calm Parenting Toolkit for free.